Alrighty, welcome back to WWE 2K25 Showcase. And, okay, so I gotta go through this conversation once again. Alright, so note to self, finish the matches before moving on with the next time. Well, last time I was here, and I didn't talk over them. They said, hey, you just can't show up, be in a triple threat, and immediately expect us to help you, for no other reason other than, I decided to recruit independent wrestlers to help me take down NXT Mutiny and all their cronies. So now, this is what's going on, and now I have to take them on in what they call a TBD rules match, right now, even though I already competed in a match. So that being said, that's what we're doing. Taking on Pierce in a TBD rules match. Last time I was here, I said a TBD rules match is essentially a death match, which is a hardcore wrestling thing. Ooh, social tweets. What does this mean for Survivor Series results? But the company's WWE may also ask any social media managers, idiots on Raw and SmackDown is recruiting, and by recruiting, line up if you still want your jobs. Okay, fair enough. Proud to be a part of the greatest movement in all of our history. Nobody worry their pretty little heads. Hey, WWE, this is your final post. We'll be taking it from here. This is the best night of my life. Mutiny for life. There's always one. Guess who's back? Back again. Heard you. WWE Universe or Mutiny Universe. Alright. And Adam Pierce says, surprise to everyone, me included, though Mutiny in charge. Looks like I'm a former GM. Let me know if you need anything. Well, alright. Now to top off this dude's upgrades. And by that, I mean top off the first two because I can't afford anything else. So let's finish this up and move on to the death match. Come on, load faster. Okay, well, it's not going to load any faster than that, so let's just move on and work with a TBD rules match. TBD rules match in the game, like I mentioned, is an anything goes match. There's weapons all over the ring and under the ring, even though there's not going to be any all over the ring because they're lazy. And they also do it false count anywhere. So, like I mentioned a couple of times, it is a death match. In layman's terms. If you don't know what it is a form of hardcore wrestling where it's usually emphasizing the extreme violence, dangerous weapons, and big stunts. There's always, and yeah, of course, there's always been some brutality. The deathmatch wrestling is its own style of brutality. Like, these are the guys who are known for using, like, power tools in their matches on their opponents. Its beginnings was in the 70s and 80s in Frontier Martial Arts, a company in Japan which introduced a handful of things you would see in the death matches in the future. It had barbed wire instead of ropes, exploding ring ropes, fire, explosives, and electronic elements. And that's what they made them into a more... FMW made them theatrical, dramatic, turning them into just this spectacle of violence rather than just pure violence. Upon Japan expanding, you had Big Japan Pro Wrestling. They were experimental and they just went for the more violence. But during that time, the other two that worked with them, so you had Frontier Martial Arts, was story-focused death matches. Big Japan, which was the violent and the experimental stuff. Then you had International Wrestling Association of Japan, which would feature deathmatch tournaments. So some of the stuff that were included as they started doing this and kind of expanding on this style of wrestling was they used glass, light tube, barbed wire boards, scaffolding matches, and some of the big wrestlers that did it was Mick Foley and Terry Funk, and a handful of others. But all of this would kind of pioneer its way, make its way into the United States in the 90s with Extreme Championship Wrestling, where they were just as real as you could be. They, like I said, similar to this was shows they would run out of. They didn't have the fancy cameras, they didn't have the power, they didn't have the backing of big providers. They relied on the money they got in. Basically, every penny that Paul Heyman made, he put back into the show. What ECW did was popularize it more in America. The no holds barred. They brought in the barbed wire in the United States, the realistic weapon fight, and it also had that gritty presentation that did everything. After ECW's closure in 2001, deathmatch wrestling moved to the independent circuit because major networks aren't going to pay to watch some dude impale somebody. So the U.S. has about 3 major promotions. The biggest that do the deathmatch wrestling, you have Combat Zone Wrestling, which is the biggest in there. Game Changer Wrestling, which is like the middle ground. And then you have IWA Mid-South, where they're just like another expansion of the Japan one. But they're the guys that brought in the light tubes, the thumbtacks, and more barbed wire. One of the biggest guys in it, Nick Gage. Crazy dude, known for just willing to do anything in those matches. He's taken many glass bumps, many attacks, so much. Often cited as, like, currently, like, one of the best wrestlers in that style. And actually in John Moxley, his book Mox, he talks about his time in CZW with Nick Gage, where he was always around doing everything. And you had one point, Moxley participated in the Combat Zone Wrestling Tournament of Death that was supposed to be won by Nick Gage. However, this type of tournament couldn't take place in a regular area. They had to go off into like a secluded woods to do this on private property because no building was going to rent to them because of the insurance. So they had to cover everything on their own. At one point, tournament goes on. Mox does his 2 matches because his first round match is against this big dude, this big rival he's fighting at the time, and then he loses his second round match. He thought he was done, so he was watching the show. Nope, he ended up having to go out in a show-ending brawl because at one point in the finals, Nick Gage, and I don't remember what the opponent is, he got a nasty cut on his underarm, and they had to airlift him to the hospital. Found out later the dude was legally dead in the helicopter for like 3 minutes, but they got him back to life. Which is part of the reason I don't like deathmatch wrestling. It happens. Nowadays, in like the 2000s, 2020s, it's still around, but a lot of places have dialed it back. So now they're focusing more back on storytelling and the athleticism. So they've kind of stopped with the over-the-sense violence, but there is still that sense. And then of course there's always that, well, why do people do it? Because humans are sick individuals. Yeah, it's like a car crash. You drive by and you see it, you know you shouldn't look at it because you don't want to take your eyes off the road and be a part of it. But you can't help but take a look at it and be in awe at just the damage that has been caused with it, which I think is the appeal. Now, of course, like I've said multiple times, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I understand it. I do like ECW. I've watched a ton of their content that's on WWE's archives. So I can't say I'm against it. But I also have my limits. ECW, I think, kind of knew when to stop, when to go, whereas a lot of those modern places, they didn't stop until it was almost too late. So that actually takes care of Paragon Pierce, and we did put him through a table, so that's a win. And y'all got a history lesson in deathmatch wrestling. We're still not done here yet because we need to see if we got the respect of the rest of the indie locker room. I hope we did. We went 2 matches back to back, and we won them both. So, will you help me? Please help. And yeah, good amount of people we could choose from if they... Alright, Paragon, what do you have to say for yourself?
Was that enough to impress you and your indie crew?
You're lucky I'm so motivated to take down Mutiny that I'd let you win.
Hold on. Let me win? Right.
Either way, imagine how the suits at WWE are going to feel when they're rescued by an indie wrestler they let go.
So, you'll help me?
Yeah, me and the rest of the crew. So what's the plan?
Mutiny's been launching attacks against WWE since the beginning. I want to take a page out of their playbook and hit them on their home turf, at NXT.
Now that's a plan worthy of Paragon J. Pierce. It's not like me to fly under the radar, but I think you're right. Indie wrestlers are perfect for this. No one will suspect a group of former superstars visiting friends or local talent just keeping their heads down. Then, boom.
Exactly. Boom.
Okay. Tonight is Special of Ground Zero. Movement where it started. Tune in for a major announcement on NXT Mutiny about biggest night in our sports, or the WrestleMania event room with crew. Tune in to see. Of course they won't. Well, at least they're not going to reveal everything that happened.
Apparently, CM Punk has some sort of major announcement regarding WrestleMania. I can't wait.
Mutiny Universe! What I have proven the past few months is that it only takes a spark to start a fire. One person to take a stand and change the trajectory of the whole business. Speaking of changing the business, let's address all those rumors about the WrestleMania main event. Surprise! It's bigger than that. This year, with Mutiny in charge, we're holding WrestleMania CM! And of course, yours truly will headline Mutiny's biggest show against...
What the hell?
Sorry, Punk. Change of plans.
Finn Balor trying to figure out what's going on. Oh my God! Is that Chosen?
They've infiltrated the infiltrators. Indie wrestlers attacking Mutiny. Who all is in on this? 3D through the table. Mutiny's never faced anything like this before.
La Cabra Hida Loca! These indie invaders are pulling out all the stops.
I think this has Punk's attention.
Bailey and KO are going to try to level the playing field. Good luck.
It looks like Mutiny is completely off their game.
All hell has broken loose here at Mutiny's home base.
It's about time someone took a stand against them.
Josie Jane and Paragon J. Pierce are here. And look who's with them. Mutiny's nemesis is back.
That's right. You better run.
This is unbelievable. No, Corey, this is beautiful.
Punk's been fooling around, and now he's going to find out.
Looks like Punk didn't want a taste of his own medicine. Punk's hightailing it so fast, he didn't have time to blow a kiss.
Well, alright then.
Is Punk going to get away? You gotta be kidding me.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll finally
Alright.
get some justice.
Time to get some revenge on him. And, okay, Jed. Beat him down. I can do that. That's easy. Oh, ooh, let's throw him into the car. Ah, that's not what I mean, yeah, that's what I wanted, but that's not exactly what I wanted to do. But, still do it. It's not that far. There it is. Nah, I got him. Of course. Fight with Punk near the... right of the ambulance. Oh! Okay, so right where those stairs are. So, yep, there's the ambulance. I do like that they actually had the NXT parking lot here. That's pretty cool. One of the most dangerous places in the entire WWE. Now, oh, okay, I didn't even have to...
Punk had to expect this after everything he's put him through.
Into the steel door.
Punk's in trouble here.
From behind.
We gotta go.
The SOB is going to get away again.
Punk may have escaped, but this battle has been won. We're getting word that all of Mutiny is fleeing their home base of the Performance Center.
Mutiny has fallen. It's about damn time.
Well, one problem just ended. I mean, a new one's going to begin. But no, what I was about to say before I was interrupted was, glad I didn't have to throw the punch.
First, I just want to thank Mutiny for welcoming us into their home. I hope you like what we've done with the place. It was so nice to see all my old friends tonight, especially one in particular. I'm sorry you had to run, but now that I'm back, we'll have plenty of time to catch up. Because we have a lot to talk about. You picked the wrong side. You followed a guy who likes to stir the pot, rile people up, all in the name of being some sort of holier-than-thou martyr who somehow always knows better than everybody else. CM Punk. Maybe you did once speak truth to power, but now I think you're so angry about what you still haven't been able to accomplish that you use your words to mask the selfish, entitled, arrogant brat that you've become. Or maybe that's who you've always been. It's clear to me. This was no mutiny for the good of the people. What you led was a power grab designed to replace a monarch with a dictator. You're even more corrupt than the thing you hate. But don't worry, Punk. Me and my indie friends aren't even close to finished. Oh, and your precious Performance Center? This is ours now. Want it back? Give me a match, and let's settle this once and for all.
Heck yeah. First you trespass, now you post a speech, and in your last Survivor Series, you don't belong here, you never did. Want to meet in the ring? Fine. One place we're coming ahead? Yeah, okay. So, okay. This week, SmackDown, regular rules, no games. And okay. If I win, it's WrestleMania. If they win, it's WrestleMania CM. Well, that looks like a problem for next time. So, let me just upgrade that. And next time on WWE 2K25, we'll see what this fool wants.